From the Bronx, New York, comes MC and performing artist Crotona P. Fresh off the release of his new project, The Benchmark, Crotona P is back with bars. This project stands out because it's completely produced by six-man entertainment and includes bangers like Guitar Case Shooter and Believe in Heathen. In addition to this release, he's built a deep discography that includes albums such as Serenity, Artisan Works of Art, Eagle Trip Theater, Killer Instinct, and more. He's also collaborated with heavyweights such as The Bad Seed, Tara Van Poo, and Punchline, and has shared stages with legends like Mobb Deep, Onyx, and DMX. Tune in to learn about his journey in music, the making of The Benchmark, or what he's got coming next on the Cristopolis Show number 272. From the Bronx, New York, comes prolific MC Crotona P. He just released a new project entitled The Benchmark. This album is unique because it's only producers from Six Man Entertainment. In addition to this album, he has a very deep discography. We're going to bring him in and talk to him about the new project, The Benchmark, and what he's got coming next. Let's bring him in. Peace, peace, peace.
Peace, peace. You can hear me?
Yeah, brother.
All right. I couldn't hear you earlier when you was live.
Yeah. I think we're good. If people could let us know if they could hear us in the stream. And it's an honor to have you on, my brother. Congratulations on The Benchmark. What
Thank
an
you.
appropriate name for a project. You know, you always come with the dope lyrics, the dope voice, but you brought the bars for this one a little extra spicy, you know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Talk to us about the new project, why this is so special and different from other projects in your deep discography.
Basically, it's the first project out of my whole catalog that I've had no features on. That's for starters. You know what I mean? It's just all of me. And also the fact that I was able to link up with the six-man producers from my team and get a variety of them and just basically showcase what they got, what they working with too, because we all coming up in this game together, so we got to showcase each other, you know what I'm saying, on each other's projects. And I just feel like I've been caught up in a lot of other projects with a lot of other producers outside of the squad, so I wanted to basically show my loyalty to the squad, and this was my way of showing it, you know.
And you showed them that loyalty by bringing that pen game, right? Because you're coming in and that opening track, right? Guitar Case Shooter, who produced that?
Shade Cobain. He actually produced Flip Wilson, Perceive, for Bad Seed, and they about to show up Flip Wilson too pretty soon. So yeah, man, he's crazy with it.
Yeah, all of Six Man Entertainment has, depth, but Shea Cobain is a problem.
For sure. Nah, but they all a problem, man. Murder Megs, and you wait till you hear Silverback Loren with the project he's dropping with C. Man, this brother is insanity, but you'll see.
Yeah. So, one of the things that you just mentioned was that in addition to this being the first six-man, only producers project that you've worked on, it's also the first project that you've done, without any features. Can you talk to us about, that process, that decision? Because you obviously have options between everybody, all the Bad Seed to write a song, you know what I'm saying, like right now, you know what I'm saying? So you've got options for features, plus, so many people that you know with so many years in the game. But for this project, you decided like, nah, I'm going to go deep into these songs. Talk to us about that decision as a writer.
I think it was my choice just based on the fact that I wanted to showcase that I could carry a project by myself.
Yeah.
And I hit him with an EP first because, like people like things in short amounts, they don't really want the like long projects by yourself and stuff like that. A lot of times those projects get overlooked because it's just way too much you know what I'm saying? Which sometimes is a good thing, sometimes it's a bad thing. But I personally I like to mix it up and rap with the people that I enjoy listening to. When I'm not listening to my music, I'm listening to them. So I like to get them on my projects too. And if the respect is mutual, it's usually an easy process. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
But with this project, I just wanted to basically prove to myself and prove to the team that I could carry a project by myself. I don't necessarily need a bunch of features on it. And the production basically carried me all the way throughout. So, I didn't feel it necessary this time around.
Yeah, no, it's a dope project. It helps people like get really close to you as a thinker, as a writer. You really open up on a lot of songs. There's one that stands out to me that I like a lot, which is "Believe in Heathen." Right, I
Hmm.
love that track, and this is a theme that you've mentioned in other songs, Thunder Sound, and different tracks that you have. Can you talk to us about what that means, what it means to you?
Believing Heathen was basically like based on the hook. It's like a lot of times when like I'm a believer in God, so a lot of times when you're in a situation that you really need His guidance, sometimes you ask for it and you may not get it at the moment that you want it or need it. You may get it later on, and it'll come probably in a learning lesson or something like that. So, but I mean that's basically what that was about. You know, why is it that He's never around when I need Him? That's how I felt at the point when I was writing the song. But it was just basically also like a lot of taking accountability for a little bit of my craziness too. You know what I mean? Like not saying that I'm like on meds or nothing like that, but I know that, sometimes the screws loose in there and sometimes, you react to things in a weird way. So, it's just it was just taking a lot of accountability on that joint, you know what I mean? And plus also trying to get other people to see their ways too. Because, there was times when I pointed out that the mind can play tricks on you in many different ways. You know what I'm saying? But the fact of the matter is that it can make you make a bad decision. But then at the same time, you can't go and point the finger at somebody who made a bad decision. You know what I'm saying? Because you may have skeletons in your closet as well. You know what I mean? So that was
Yeah,
basically there was a lot of different messages within that song. It wasn't just one straight message. I was jumping around a lot, basically
yeah.
to show how my brain works. It's like a lot of times it's just like jumping from thing to thing. Like there's not a lot of like focus on one thing, and I'm trying to work on that. You know what I'm saying? Even at this point in my life and at this age, I'm still working on myself as an individual and trying to stay more focused on things so I can follow through a lot better. You know what I mean?
Yeah. A constant self becoming, right? We're always
Hmm.
growing every day and changing and life changing, technology's changing, right? The what I love about that song and about a theme that you touch on often is, you know, a lot of times we like music and connect with artists because they're talking about things that we can relate to. And I think a lot of
Hmm.
people can relate to having a faith, having God, having moral compass, having character, and following a set of principles and virtues. But at the same time, don't you know what I'm saying?
Hmm.
Like if it needs to go down, it can go down. And then
Always.
believe in
Hmm.
heathen, right? You're really kind of in in the way that only an MC that's good with the pen can do, explaining this complicated, intricate reality that many of us experience, right? Like we're trying to do the
Hmm.
right thing in life, but life is testing.
Hmm.
Yeah,
Exactly. You hit it right in the nail.
yeah, yeah. It's really good. You know, you've one of the things that Six Man is known for, in addition to the production and the bars, is incredible visual work. This project is brand new. It just came out about a week ago. Um, Talk
Hmm.
to us about plans for visual work.
Well, there's a video dropping tomorrow at 6 p.m. on Pocket of Plug's YouTube channel. The song is called "Unbelievable Truth." It's produced by Silverback Loren with cuts by legendary DJ Cut Supreme.
That's dope. So,
Yeah.
so nobody had like, have there been like sizzles? Have you released any of the information on it, or is it kind of completely coming out on Pocket the Plug?
Yeah, it's coming out. I put a promo video out today on Instagram to let them know it's coming soon. I saw the post already on YouTube. It's premiering in about, I would say now, maybe in about 20 hours. So I think like probably like at 6 p.m. if I'm not mistaken, tomorrow evening around
Right.
6 p.m. the debut's on Pocket of Plugs channel.
That's dope, bro.
Hmm.
Congratulations on that. And they're like in the future,
Thank you.
right? They're like 8 hours
Hmm.
ahead. So it's like
Yeah,
it's
yeah,
like it's
yeah,
coming out, it's coming out, right. That's
yeah,
everything. Once you're on Pocket the Plugs, you know what I'm saying? That's like where you release the videos. That's where the underground
yeah.
hip hop goes. So the fact that you're releasing there speaks volumes about you, Six Man, everything.
Yeah, I've been releasing with Parker for years, man. When Parker first started, man, I was releasing with Parker. A lot of the videos that we put out for the Three Kings project with me and Zoo, we put out through Parker. A lot of my stuff that I did on MVP with produced by Volatile from Rochester, New York, where I live at the moment. That also was on Parker's channel. So I've been dealing with Parker for years, man. He's a good brother, man. You know what I'm saying? Like disagreements happen between people, but I got a lot of love for Parker. Man, Parker showed me a lot of love, and he showcased my videos to overseas, which is very important for that global reach, which
Yeah.
is every MC should be aiming for that. You know what I mean?
Yeah, yeah. We hinted on this a little bit in the intro that I created, right? That you're originally from the Bronx, but in my research, you mentioned you moved upstate. A lot of hip hop
Hmm.
moved upstate too, right? So I guess you moved upstate and hip hop went with you. Give
Hmm.
us, give the people that are getting familiar with Crotona P some background on your story, right? Coming up in the Bronx, that early kind of hip hop life, then the move upstate, and then how you've continued your career and how it's flourished up there.
Well, I grew up. I was born and raised in the Bronx, New York. I grew up on a block called Crotona Avenue, East 179th Street in the Bronx. Famous park out there called Crotona Park. For those that know, for those that don't know, you should go visit one day. It's a beautiful park. And I grew up there, and my whole life I was up there till about 32. I started rapping when I was about maybe 15 years old,
Wow.
and I did it because I saw dudes on the block doing it and people in school doing it, and I just basically fell in love with the culture, and I wanted to be a part of it. And I wanted that same feeling of like when dudes left the cipher and everybody was like, "Oh, he killed it." I wanted to experience that, so I basically got on my job and started writing and started getting involved very, very, very early on. You know what I mean? And then part of a lot of different crews growing up. You know what I mean? The first crew was a crew called Lyrical Terrorists. We went up to the college radio station where Mr. Lynn of Company Flow, Mr. Lynn, DJ Mr. Lynn was out there. He was doing a
Yeah.
radio show. We went up there and did his radio show early in my life. You know what I mean? And there, I just started. I was a big fan of like Stretch and Bobbito and
Hmm.
the Underground Railroad and all. I was listening to that like all the time. Like Mom used to see me. I used to Bobbito came on late, so sometimes I'd be up from like 1 in the morning to like 5 in the
Right.
morning, just
With a
listening to
cassette,
all of them.
recording with a cassette.
Of course, all that, bro, all that. You know what I mean? So I did that, and then throughout, I met different individuals. I met somebody, but by now he goes by the name of 11, and I met him, and he heard me rap, and he was like, "Yo, you dope, but you need to learn how to like write a song, like with a hook and all that." I was like, all right, just show me. So he basically started bringing me around his crew, Lyrical Terrorists, and I started learning how to create songs, how to create hooks, and how to do stuff like that. And then I just incorporated my the way I do things and took it from there. You know what I mean? And then after Lyrical Terrorists, that didn't work out. I got with another crew called IC Square. That's my family to this day. You know what I mean? Team Man, Idol Anonymous, Mr. Gaden. We was a four-man group, and we did a lot of talent shows out in the Bronx, a lot of
Yeah.
like little local clubs here and there. We did it. Spent a lot of time in my man T Man's home studio, just writing and recording and building, just ourselves as MCs, and just a lot of stuff like that. That after things didn't work out with the four-man group, it became just a two-man group. It was me and T Man, and we started doing a lot of work for a long time. Um, but we didn't really have like outlets to put music out. We didn't have
Yeah.
the internet. We
Yeah.
didn't, we didn't have a lot of things to do. So we didn't know how to shop things to certain places. Like back in the days, you thought that you could get the little phone number from the back of the tape and call the label, and you thought you was gonna get signed. But a lot of times they just didn't pick up the
Yeah,
phone,
there
or
was no
you didn't,
distro kid. There was no getting
nah,
it on
none of that.
Spotify, right?
None of that. None of that. So, basically it was just a lot of just material that we were creating just for ourselves, basically. And then once I moved up, right before I moved up to Rochester, I started learning a little bit about the internet, and I put my project out, my first project out, His The Expression by myself. I had a few features on there, but it was a solo project. And I put that out in New York City and put it on CD, burned it on CD, try to, sell it, didn't sell many copies, whatever. Then I came up to Rochester, New York at 32. When I was 32, I moved up here to Rochester. And when I came up here, I put my CD in local like CD spots or whatever, and basically left it there to see what it would do. But then I just didn't really care about hip hop for a while and creating at all. And then I went to a local show here in Rochester, New York. It was a famous place that they used to do a lot of shows that called the Dublin Underground. And I went to one of their showcases, and I met a guy there by the name of Schizo. And Schizo Flows basically, started asking me questions. He asked me, and I told him that I rapped and everything. And he was like, "Yeah, let me hear something." So I let him hear something. And then he
Right,
was like, "Yo,
you
man,
had a verse, even though you weren't
yeah,
like actively, you had a verse on
yeah,
deck.
yeah. You always had that. Back then especially, you always had that one that pop it out if you need to. You know what I mean? But I showed him, and then he was like, "Yo, I can help you, monetize your music and stuff like that." So he showed me how to monetize my music, and he started putting me on to like streaming and how to do stuff like that. So we started taking it from there, and I got down with his crew when I moved up to Rochester called Hex Nation, and
Oh
we
yeah,
basically we basically had a nice little run. We performed in the city like crazy.
yeah,
Opened up for a ton of MCs that came through. Like you see in my bio, you can see like Smith and Wesson, Mobb Deep, Scarface, Ari the Rugged Man. I had a great time when he came up to Rochester
yeah.
with
He's
him.
wild.
Yeah, Chris Rivers, Whispers, came up to Rochester, New York too. We performed that night too. I was in a group called Big Bang Kingsman. That project is also online. You can find that Big Bang Kingsman.
Yeah.
That's the name of the album. And we just did a lot of shows and a lot of music, and I was just dropping like continuous albums by myself and with features and stuff like that. And just been making music ever since. Since I got here to Rochester, and I knew I could make money off of it, and how I could do it and everything, and how to put it up digitally. And once I learned all that, it was smooth sailing after that. And
Yeah.
then with the Hex Nation thing, unfortunately we lost a lot of members due to death. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
A lot of unfortunate events. So they decided to just basically take a break from making music. The main guy who was leading Hex Nation decided to take a break from making music, and I respected it. And kind of everybody kind of went their separate ways, doing their own thing musically or whatever.
Yeah.
And then I just stayed doing my stuff by myself for a minute, dropping project after project, and then I joined the radio station called Rock City Radio with
Oh.
DJ Supremacy, B Nuts, Mr. Ripley, Cinematic, myself, and sometimes Tally Rodriguez would come on.
And you guys like
And we,
hosting like a show, like a radio show.
yeah, every week we did it every Friday night. We started around 6 in the evening and ended around midnight every
Yeah.
Friday. So it was, basically a lot of music, a lot of shit talking, a lot of everything, a little bit of
Yeah.
everything. And we did, I did it with them for like about 2 years, something like that.
Yeah.
I was on the show with them, and about maybe 2 years, I think, or a little bit more. You know what I mean? But after that, the show ended. Unfortunately, there was a lot of things going on at the time that he needed to handle, personally.
Yeah.
So the show ended. And while on the show, I was hosting one day, and Bad C came on as an interview, as somebody that we were going to interview.
This is the origin story
Yeah,
right here. This is the 6 man origin moment.
yeah. Well, for my story, you know what I mean? Like
Yeah.
basically, um, with it was 6 man. So we were interviewing Seed, and Seed was talking, and then in the middle of talking, he stopped and he was like, "Wait a minute, Crotona P's in here." So when he said that, I was like, "Oh, he knows who I am." And then we started talking. He was like, "Yeah, yeah, I'm familiar with your music." So then after that, we started talking, outside of the show. And he told me he was thinking about putting together like a super group of MCs
Yeah.
that were dope in the underground, that was doing their thing, and basically may have the talent, but may not have the support and push to get them to that next level. So he was trying to basically form a super crew. You know what I mean? And he started handpicking MCs, and I was one of the MCs that he handpicked. And he asked me if I wanted to be down. And being the fact that I had been down with so many different cliques and crews and groups and stuff like that, I wasn't really like that wasn't my focus, and I wanted to continue just doing my own thing. But when he started telling me like what his plan was, he seemed so like committed like to what he wanted to do, and so like energetic about it that I was like, what, I'm not doing anything with anybody. I'm not tied down to anything right now. So let me see how this goes. Basically, Six
Yeah.
Man Entertainment is a humongous support system that basically shares each other's music. Shares like when it's go time for an artist, we behind each other, which is
Yeah.
very important in the crew. You know what I mean? There's been people that came in the crew and decided it wasn't for them, and they left and went and did their own thing. You know what I'm saying? But the ones
Yeah.
that remain, we still there, and we're making it work, and it's just a beautiful thing, man. Like we have like a family environment. We speak all the time on chat, and Seed is very easily accessible. If I need
Yeah.
to pick his brain, if I need to pick his brain, pause. But I need to ask him any questions. I
Yeah.
could do that, no problem. You know what I'm saying? And he's somebody that's been in the game for a long time. You know what I mean?
For
I
sure.
remember him from way back. You know what I mean? When he was doing stuff with Pumpkinhead and all that. So
Yeah.
there's a lot of respect there already. So just the fact that we family now. You know what I'm saying? Like
Yeah.
we don't only talk music. We kick the shit about anything. You know what I mean? So
Yeah.
it's pretty cool. It's pretty cool that have somebody, especially somebody that understands the craft and is as passionate about the music and lyricism. You know what I'm saying? He's
Yeah.
passionate about everything. So, and
Yeah.
about he's somebody also that also gives a lot of feedback, like things that maybe you don't want to hear but may need to hear. But like just
Yeah.
sometimes it's just basically game. It's telling you like you could do it if you want to do it this way, but you do it how you want to do it. But this may help you out if you do a little bit of this or whatever. This is always
Yeah.
you always it's always good to learn. You're never too old to learn. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Even him, he's still learning every day. You know what I'm saying?
For
So
sure. For sure. Yeah. That's a beautiful story. Thank you so much for sharing. Like back from the Bronx to Rochester, from your
hmm
first crew to your current crew.
hmm
Really, really in depth. I'm curious, and hip hop is such a dope culture, and it's like a life experience that so many of us have lived. In addition to being an MC, are there any other parts of the culture? You shared that you were on the radio. Are there any other parts of hip hop culture that were a big part of your life in addition to being an MC?
Not a huge part of my life, but before I even started rapping, I was in love with DJing because my man in high school, my man Danny was crazy with it. He was nasty with the cuts, even back when we was like maybe 13, 14 years old.
Yeah.
'Cause, yeah, he was really dope. You know what I mean? And he's not doing music anymore, but he was a real ill DJ. And I found out about I knew him from junior high school, but I didn't really know about the DJing until we got to high school. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And I started going to his crib, and he started showing me how to bring the record back, how to transform, and how to do little things. So I was learning. I never got as nice as he was, but I was learning. But then
Right, right. Things that you used to see like on Beat Street or like on Yo
yeah,
MTV Raps, and then
yeah,
he's got the actual crossfader and could do it.
yeah. Yeah, we used to leave high school all the time. We used to cut high school and just go to his crib, and he basically just DJ for a while, and then we caught the bug with rapping. So once that happened, then we would go to his house and throw on beats and rap over beats and a lot of that. You know what I mean? That was the very, very, very beginning stages.
Yeah, that's really really dope. And can you
hmm
also share with us something interesting happened in hip hop in New York specifically? New York City being the mecca of hip hop, the Bronx, where it was born. In places like Brooklyn, where like you think Brooklyn, you think hip hop. But something happened in the last decade or so where a lot of hip hop started coming out of upstate New York. And it also kind of
hmm
aligns with you being, from the Bronx, moving to Rochester. Can
hmm
you talk to us about what that was like? You experienced it. You know what I'm saying? Like you got there and
hmm
then all of a sudden it started bubbling. What was that like
hmm
being on the ground?
In the beginning, when I first got up here, it was like like real energetic, because they have venues, they have places where they would actually perform at. And I went to performances, I went to battles, I went to all, like, I got to see Ice Grill versus Hassan Maki out here, the
Wow.
battle that happened. Yeah, I saw that live. And I caught the tail end of it, though. That's the bad part. You know what I mean? Like,
Right.
excuse me, I caught the tail end of when they were doing a lot of performances and stuff like that. But it was dope. It was dope to see the camaraderie. It was dope to see people, showing each other love for their music, and everybody would go to shows and build a network with each other. It was just an ill feeling. And then they started shutting down venues because a lot of BS started happening, people getting
Right.
shot up.
Somebody gonna mess it up.
Yeah, yeah. For a little minute, we had a little venue in Canada called the V Pub that we was rocking, and we was doing shows like every weekend, every
Wow.
weekend. I threw a birthday party up there one day, and we packed that bitch out. Like, it was crazy. Like, I had about 16 performers that night that
Wow.
I handpicked from over here, from upstate, from Rochester, and from Syracuse. So to my man Street the Villain. I'm sorry. You know what I'm saying? Like, he used to come up there a lot, and we built a real good friendship just from performing together out there, and doing
Yeah.
collaborations and stuff like that. Yeah.
That's dope. That's dope. So
Hmm.
you were there when it all started like popping off and different
Yeah.
artists started coming out from upstate.
Yep, that's when I started learning about the UWAPs. Rest in peace to him. The Ethos, 38 Specials. You know what I mean? Like, C Clip. Like, there was a lot of people that I started hearing about, and people were like, my man Sonny would put me on and tell me, yo, this dude right here been doing it for a minute. This dude been doing it for a minute. He was just like, show me. And then I started like listening to the music that they had online at the time or whatever. And became
Yeah.
a fan of MCs out here also too. You know what I mean? Like,
Yeah.
it's dope to like see a Edo out and about, and he'd be like, yo, what's poppin', Crotona, and say what's up to each other. It's always respect. You know what I'm saying? And it's a beautiful
Yeah.
thing. You know what I mean?
Yeah. That's dope. That's dope.
Hmm.
Um, you have had like a really good last couple years. You know what I'm saying? Like 2025 was like you were busy. 2024 you were crazy busy.
Yeah.
2026 looking good. You know what I'm saying?
Hmm. Yeah.
Talk to us about like because you just dropped a project like this joint is popping, right? But you
Hmm.
just dropped with
Yeah.
Serenity. You know what I'm saying? Which is an
Yeah.
incredible album. Talk to us about
Yeah.
Serenity.
Serenity came out in November, and it's an album produced by Silent Someone, a producer from out the Bronx, who I met through Mike Titan. I'm not sure if you're familiar with Mike Titan.
Yeah, hell yeah.
And we did a project together, and he basically wanted to do a project with a lot of different underground producers that he knew and that I knew. So we basically brought beats to the table to each other, and we decided to just work on a few someone joints, and then Silent told me he was working on some stuff, but he wanted to wanted to work with me, so he sent me a track. And it just said Crotona P on it. So I just opened it up, and it was all like tailor made to me. It had my name in it and the cuts and all that. So I'm like,
Wow.
what?
When
It
the
had Mike
producer
Titans.
sends you the beat and it's got your name on it.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. So basically, I thought it was dope. It was a dope beat, but I was working on other projects at the time, so I couldn't really take my time. I like to focus in when I'm locking in with a producer. I like to focus. So I was working on the project with Mike Titan, and then I was working on the project with King Bandolero at the time from the No Face crew.
Yeah.
And when I was doing those projects, I told Simon, yeah, I'm gonna work on it. Just give me a little minute. And once I finished up with those projects, I tackled that beat and sent it back to him. Once I sent it back, he liked it so much. He was like, yo, I think we should do a project together, maybe an EP or something like that. And I'm like, all right. So you send me a few joints. So he started sending me beats, and a lot of the beats he was sending me, I was rocking with him. So I'm like, all right, this is, we went from like maybe doing 6 joints, and now we're doing like 12. I don't even know how many joints are on that album, on that particular album right
Yeah,
now off the top of my head. But
you just kept going.
yeah, yeah, yeah. So basically, it was just a project that we put together, and at the time, I was just feeling a lot of peace, and I still am. Like, I haven't really, nothing's really changed that much. You know what I'm saying? Nothing drastic, but in this hip hop game, there's moments, especially as you get older, there's moments that you feel more at peace with yourself and with the world, and there's other times that you don't. You know what I'm saying? And there's different aggression that comes out on certain tracks. I never been the type of MC to just give you one feel. I like to give you all of me because I'm human, bro. You know what I mean? There's
Yeah.
days that I'm happy, there's days that I'm good, there's days that I'm angry and shit. So it's
Yeah.
gonna come out. It's gonna come out in the tracks. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So the Serenity album was just a lot of. I was in a good space. You know what I'm saying, through the whole project, and everything was just coming out dope. Silent was understanding what I needed to get out, and he was providing the perfect backdrops for it.
Yeah. And that kind of lends towards the name of the album, Serenity.
Yeah. Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah, exactly. That's the reason why I named it Serenity, because that's where I was at the point. You know what I mean? Like, I wanted to showcase a positive side also in hip hop, because a lot of times there's like, we tend to like be
Right.
more keen to go towards the negative than the positive. So,
Right.
I think as an MC, I ain't grow up listening to just negative. I grew up listening to a little bit of everything, and I
Yeah.
enjoyed a little bit of everything. I wasn't like I met a lot of people in my life that just straight gangster. I don't want to hear nothing but just gangster rap. You know
They
what I'm
just some
saying? And just
killers.
that,
They
just that
just
street
killing
shit.
everything. They selling coke. They
Yeah,
selling coke,
yeah.
and they strapped. That's all
Yeah, yeah,
day.
yeah. That's all day. That's what, and to each his own. There's people that gets them through the day. You know what I'm saying? Like just listening to that type of music. But as an MC and a fan of hip hop, you know what I'm saying? There's a lot of MCs that came along the way that to me was more about lyricism than it was about
Yeah.
street shit all the time. You know what I'm saying? It's about the bars that you can actually spit. Like anybody could say, I ran up here and I sold a brick, and anybody could. And they may be able to say it in a dope way. You know what I'm saying? And
Yeah.
it may
Absolutely.
even it grabs my attention sometimes. I ain't gonna lie,
Yeah.
but like that's not everything to me. So if it's not everything to me as a listener, it can't be everything to me as a creator. You know what I'm saying?
That's good. That's good. You touched on the name of the album Serenity and kind of where you were feeling emotionally, but that kind of lets us kind of tap into you as a writer, right? Like, at the end of the day, being an MC, being a lyricist, there's kind of two components to it. One is when you're actually performing the songs and how you rock the crowd and like how you say it and how you put it together, right? The flow. But there's another part to it, which is the songwriting, the depth, the words, the emotion, the ability to communicate something that a person is feeling through lyrics and songs and make somebody else experience that, or can you talk with us about your songwriting process? How do you put songs together? Do you write to the beat? Do you write in your head? Do you write on paper? Do you write on phone? Do you write right in the studio? I think a lot of people find that are non MCs or that are MCs interesting how MCs put songs together.
Well, my process in this day and age, you know what I'm saying? My process is production first. Production first. I rarely write to other people's beats anymore, like just random like songs that I hear and I may find an instrumental and write. I rarely do that. Like a lot of the stuff that I write is for projects or features and stuff like that. I don't write just to write. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So a lot of times it's just the production. The production has to grab me, and the production is basically what leads into the song. It's what it brings out of me. You know what I mean? It's all based on production. And then once I start vibing out to the production, then I start deciding which direction kind of I want to go in, and then I let the pen flow. And then the thoughts start popping in my head, metaphors start popping in my head, different things start, and I just start writing, just start doing what I got to do. And sometimes it's a quick process. Sometimes it takes a little longer. Like there's days that I may write a verse. I may not finish a whole song in a day. I may write a verse today, come back, write the hook tomorrow, come back the next day or the next 2 days and write the third verse. Like it depends, you know what I'm saying? Because at the same time that I want to write these songs, I want to live my life, you know what I'm saying? So I can't
Right. You need
spend
to live life to have material to like write about too, right?
exactly. But just in general though, period. Like I'm at an age where I want to enjoy my life, man. I want to enjoy my family. I want to enjoy time with my girl, going out. Even if it is to catch a flick or to the mall or have some dinner or something. I want to be able to do these things without constantly feeling, oh my God, I gotta go write this and all. So now I write when the spirit hits me. You know what I'm saying? Like I'm not writing just to write. You know what I'm saying? But I get so much. I get so much constant work that either if I'm not doing my own work, I'm working on somebody's feature here or there. And it's like I don't really have a lot of time to just sit around and not write. So when I do have that time, I got to shut down music sometimes, and just live life and enjoy the world around me for a little bit. You know what I mean?
That's
But for a
good.
short period, for a short period.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. And then back to the pen,
And
back to the
that's
mic.
all I know. That's all I
That's
know, bro.
good.
So, we always go back and just try to create better stuff than what you did last time, or different stuff than what you did last time. Because better is basically it's subjective. It's what the listener decides if it's better or not. But it's like just creating stuff that I would want to listen to. If I don't want to listen to it, then I'm not going to create it or put it out. You know what I mean? I may
Yeah,
create it, but I won't put it out.
that's good. Yeah, when we look at your discography, right? You start getting so busy, right? Like in the last several years, like incredibly prolific and working with a variety of producers. And then, with Six Man, it kind of expands and like grows exponentially after that. Um, we're currently in the promotional run of the Benchmark, your new project, completely produced by Six Man Entertainment producers, available on all DSPs right now. But is there, things that you're cooking, things that are coming up in 2026 that you want to share with people?
Yeah, sure. I won't share the title yet, but I am working on a project right now that's halfway done with Anaje Jordan, producer from out of Chicago, and we got a project coming out soon. And then I'm also working on a project with Tally Rodriguez of the Knuckle Draggers, and we did a project previous called The Authenticos, and we
Yeah,
doing yeah. So now we working on another project, and I got all the production for that already. He's just waiting for me to start writing. You know what I'm saying? I just been caught up trying to finish the Anaje Jordan project because like I tell you before, like this. I want to create. When I create a project, I don't like. I can jump from project to project if I'm in that mode. But lately, I just been wanting to lock in on the one project and finish that and see that through, and then jump to the next one so I'm fresh and I could see where my mind takes me next. You know what I mean?
yeah. Because when you're working with one producer, that is like its own, like that project is that moment in time with that producer. It's a really dope way to do it, right? It's like you're
Hmm.
locked in. This was Crotona right now with, whoever the producer is. So I
Right.
think that's a really, really dope approach. That's
Yeah,
dope.
yeah, man. I don't like to lose focus of what I'm doing at the time, because I like sometimes you can do it, but sometimes the energy you got on one project you bring to the next one that don't need to be there. You know what I'm saying? And
Yeah.
everything is sequencing, man. When you drop a project, everything got to make sense. Everything has to align. And sometimes you can't throw a curveball because sometimes that curveball could just throw off the whole project. So I like to focus on that one project and make sure that we see it through and whatever, and mixing, mastering, and you know, uh, sometimes producers will send you a beat, and sometimes they want to rework the beat or they want to take
Yeah.
things in and out, and you gotta sometimes you gotta be patient because it's a process, but you gotta be patient, and but once the writing is done, everything else is up to everybody else because I'm not mixing and mastering anything. So, you know, once I'm done writing that project, then I can move on to writing the next one. And that's what I'm doing. I wanna give this next Tally Rodriguez project like my all because the Authentic Goes to me was a really really dope album, and the
Yeah.
production I got for this new project is insane. Like I got about 20 something joints. It's just crazy, crazy. So and
How do
all
you do
handpicked
that? I mean,
by.
how you just gotta basically like like listen to it a little bit, then like I'll put it away, put it away. I'm gonna focus in and finish
Yeah,
this joint like that.
yeah. You gotta be patient with yourself, man. Because sometimes like, there's been times that I've gone and just took a sneak peek into Tally's, catalog of beats that he sent me, and I'm like, damn, I get a hook in my head real quick, and I'm like,
Right, you just
should I
like all
write?
of a sudden you
I like,
start putting it. You're like,
I'm like,
I need to stop.
yeah, I gotta stop. I gotta stop. Yeah, it's just like that. I'm like, damn, I could do this and I could write this and record this right now, but it's like, how long is it going to be before I write another one for this project? So let me focus in on the Anaje project and finish that. Once I'm done with that, then I can lock in with Tally. And then after that, I got a few things that I may revisit. I may revisit the Mike Titan project, and we may give you another one.
Yeah.
Um, I also had a conversation last night, you know, and this is not definite, but this is something that we put on the table. Both of us put it on the table, and I may be doing a project with G Fan Black. So Yeah, that's something else that's on the table right now. We spoke about it, and he's really down to do it, and I'm down to do it. I just like I'm telling you, I told him I'm trying to finish up these projects first, and once that's done, then I can free my time up. And then there's also a secret project that's being put together by P Row, you know P Row of the Knuckle Draggers.
Okay.
He also got like a super crew, like he handpicked a bunch of MCs to put on an album, and you know he already got the production for that album, and that's something else that I got to start tackling because he told me to get down on that project, so I got to do that. You know what I mean? It's a lot of work
It's
coming
gonna be a
up. You
bunch
know
of
what I mean?
killers on there, so you got to come right.
Oh hell yeah! It's just I know when it's time to really go crazy. I know, you know what I'm saying. But you know sometimes it's great to go crazy, but sometimes it's good to let the people understand you too. You know what I'm saying? Sometimes it's
Yeah,
good to let simplicity is a little simplicity in your music is also like great sometimes. You
absolutely.
know?
Yeah, the best lyricists and the best songs are when it's the most common emotions explained in the simplest way, but in a way that's new. That shit is the
Yeah.
hardest, right? It's hard
Hmm.
to make the best cheeseburger. You know what I'm saying? There's a lot of
Exactly.
cheeseburgers. You can make the best
Yeah.
bacon cheeseburger. You know what I'm saying? Like that's a special thing. You know what I
Yeah.
mean?
Yeah. Yeah.
So
For sure.
shout out to the homie Most that's putting up a lot of the different work that you've put in.
Yo,
Yeah.
matter of fact, that's my brother. Just to let you know, that's my brother, Mosky Graphics, Adrian Espinoza. He's been my graphic designer. He's been my friend. He's been my friend before anything. Since I moved up to Rochester. Since I moved up to Rochester, I've known this man, and our relationship has done nothing but grow. And he's basically my graphic designer. He does all my covers. The Guitar Case Shooter cover, he did that. He did the Artisan Works of Art project cover, album cover. He did that. The Near Cinematic, Ego Trip Theater, he did that. Like he's just crazy with graphic designs. He actually just edited my music video that's dropping tomorrow. He's a real dope
Oh, the
individual.
joint, the
That's
pocket, the plug joint. He edited that.
Yeah, he edited that.
Oh,
Yep, yep. So like he's just a real dope individual, man. And like if I anytime I get a chance and I could like let the people know about him, definitely gonna do it because that brother has like been there for me more than a lot of people in my life. You know what I'm saying? And
yeah.
he still remains there. We have a crazy relationship. We curse each other out every day, but that's my brother. I love him to death. And
Shout out
it wouldn't
Most.
be yeah, Mosky Graphics. You already know that's my brother Adrian. His name is Mink. We call him Mink. Everybody in Rochester know Mink. You know what I mean?
That's dope. Shout out Mink.
He out in Florida right now. He's about to have a
He
baby.
working on that
Listen,
tan.
yeah, he's about to have a baby within the next few days. He got two kids already, but he's
Oh,
about to
that's
have a
dope.
third one within the next few days. Yeah,
What a blessing. God bless you, Moski. Mink. The he mentions an album here, the Imperfect Courtier album. Your
yeah.
album's bananas, bro. Like I'm going through your
Thank you.
discography, right? And then I get to the joint, right? And that joint, talk to us about that. Cause listen, Serenity's dope and obviously the benchmark is just a banger, right? The production, your bars, you come with it. But that album is different. Talk to
Yeah,
us about that joint.
that project was produced by a producer from out of Europe called LOB. And basically it was purchase beats. I basically went and spoke to him. He started sending me stuff to see what I liked, and I bought everything for that project. You know what I'm saying? I bought all the beats off of him, and I wanted to create a project that was fully features, no solo joints, just all features with
Yeah.
the dopest MCs that I know in the underground that I got personal relationships with. So I basically started, hitting people up and telling them what my ideas were, like all the hooks I created, like except for one, the one with Blast, Black and Seal Dubai. Blast created that hook, but yeah, everything else I did, and it was just something I wanted to do. Every song is titled with the first it's a letter of my name. So if you listen to the first song, it's Sky out there, then the next one.
Oh.
So it's all remorse. So they all go down, and at the end of the side, you see it all say Crotona P to the end.
Oh,
So
that's dope.
yeah. So I basically just put that project to just showcase everybody I really fuck with. You know what I mean? And
Yeah.
some of the dopest beats that I had heard in a while because LOB is a crazy producer. He's a crazy
The
producer,
production's crazy. Like the whole
man.
project's really dope, but the production's special and different.
Shout to shout out to my man Volatile because he actually had all the stems to all the beats and he mixed and mastered that whole project for me. He was
Wow.
the one doing all the drops and all the perfect spots. Like Volatile really showed his ass mixing
Yeah.
this project. You know what I mean? And he really came
Yeah.
through for me. And it was a dope process. Just getting
Yeah.
down with everybody, and you know how it is with rappers, especially lyricists. We all trying to outdo each other. So it was dope to hear like everybody like spitting their hardest shit. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Shouts to King Arthur, Zach Biff Nori. You know what I'm saying? Like my man M. Doc Diego, G Fan Black Pete Roll. We had so many people on that project, man. Monster
Yeah.
Krills, Volatile, even rapped on the last song, Pressure. Who else? Mike Johnson Jr., who's a pretty well-known battle rapper. He also, was on the project. Cut Supreme did some cuts on the project. It was a real fun experience. You know what I mean?
Yeah. Yeah.
To
I'm
put that
glad that
together.
you're highlighting the importance of the engineer, right? Because they engineer could take a dope album and make it whack, and they could take a
Yeah,
whack album and make it sound, like they could make an artist that's okay sound incredible. You know what I'm saying?
yeah,
So when you have a dope
yeah.
artist and dope beats and a lot of lyricists, and you got somebody actually like that's got the skill level of a great engineer, that is like an
Hmm.
unsung talent because you hear about the producers, you hear about the DJs, you even hear about the
Hmm.
cover artwork, you obviously hear about
Hmm.
the MCs, but the engineers get slept on because that right there is what you're actually, the end product is the engineer.
Yeah, shouts to Dan Akill from the UK. Also, he engineered the Ego Trip Theater album, and he also just did Benchmark. He mixed and mastered
Wow.
Benchmark. Yeah. Mhm.
Wow.
He's
That's
also
really
an
dope.
artist that got a lot of dope music online too. When you get a chance, check him out from the UK. Dan Akill. He's a producer.
I'm gonna look them up. Yeah, thank you, brother.
Hmm.
You got
For
somebody
sure.
else that like really like stood out to me that I don't see their name around that much, but he's incredible. You've worked with Mike Titan, you've worked with Doza, you've worked with the Bad Seed, like a lot of big dope names, right? But the person who you worked with that I kept seeing through your discography, and I was like, oh shit, was M. Doc Diego, right? M. Doc
Yeah, that's
Diego
my
is
bro.
such a dope MC.
Hell
But
yeah.
he doesn't feature out a lot with like a lot of people. You know what I'm saying? Like
Yeah.
he's just dope. He's just dropping his own, doing his own thing. Talk to us about that
Yeah.
relationship.
That's my brother. He reached out. I know him here in the Rochester scene for a long time. I've been cool with his pops. Me and his pops is more like closer in age than me and Doc. You know what I mean? But um, he basically reached out to me and said he wanted to see if I would be interested in working on a project, like a group project together, me and him. And I don't usually do that a lot. I wasn't doing that a lot, but when
Yeah.
he reached out to me and said he had a plan, and there was a producer from out of Italy called Manzu Beats that wanted to do a project with him and me. So I said, yeah, let's do it. Like, cause he heard me on M. Doc Diego did a project with Manzu Beats, and we was on a song together, Tango and Cash. We did a song
Let's
called.
go.
There's a video for that on YouTube, and after that Tango and Cash, Manzu heard me and said, "Yo, I think you guys sound dope together. You guys should probably do a project together." And that's when M. Doc was like, "Yo, P, what you think?" And I'm like, "All right, let's do it. Let's see how it comes out." And it was a quick process. He picked a certain amount of beats. I picked a certain amount of beats, and we just I did the references. He did his references. We sent them to each other. We knocked it out. Sent it back to Manzu. He mixed and mastered everything. Did the artwork for everything. We shot the video. Shot the Diego Dollars for Cartel Films. And he basically did all our Three King videos that we released. You know what I mean? So yeah, man, it was dope. It was dope working with Doc. Doc is a good brother, very humble, very
Yeah.
respectable, honest individual, and like you hear him on the tracks, you hear that gravelly voice and all that, but you meet him in person and he's super quiet, super low tone, like what I mean, like super, like he's just he's a good guy, man.
Yeah.
He's a good guy,
But I
and
know what you
I
mean.
rock.
Like you hear rappers, like you hear like in hip hop, like the voice and like in a sense like a persona. But then when you meet people in
Yeah,
real life, you're like, oh, you mad cool. You know what I'm saying? You mad. You
yeah.
know what I'm saying? You mad chill.
Like it's night and day, bro. Like when you meet him, it's like like you still hear the gravel in his voice a little bit because he can't hide that. But
Right.
super cool, man. Super cool, brother. And just was dependable. I never had any problems, man. When we worked on the
That's
project,
important.
there was no back and forth arguments, none of that. It was just like he did what he did and sent it to me. I did what I did, sent it to him. And then when we started like doing shows together, started performing together, that's when we started really building our friendship. You know what I'm saying? And
Yeah.
Doc's a great dude, man. Dope rapper, dope lyricist, and got a lot of catalog out there. If you're not familiar, get familiar. Like he says, get familiar. And Doc Diego, you know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Rochester, New York.
You just kind of mentioned the performances with M Dot, but you also talked to us about, coming up in the Bronx, the talent shows, all the different crews that you were a part of, right?
Hmm.
Iron, sharpens iron, right? So when you're around with other MCs and the cipher, that's how you started, was in the cipher. Can you talk to us about that part of your art, which is the live performance? And any live performances or things that you have coming up in the near future, or for the album and things that you got coming up, related to what you're
I
working on now.
I don't have any performances coming up at the moment. I would like to get some. I would like to get some performances, but like I tell everybody, it has to make sense. I don't want to. I don't want to take a trip like somewhere far where I gotta spend money on a hotel to basically perform for 4 or 5 people. Like I want it to make sense,
Yeah,
even if that means paying a small fee. You
yeah,
know what I'm saying? For me to get the opportunity to perform somewhere where I could actually be heard, be seen, and even possibly sell merch, and that would be a better look than me just going. Like I've done the performances where you only got 5 or 6 people in the club, and it's cool because you get experience, you get a lot of stage time, you get to make those mistakes and all that, and you get to know like what really
yeah. It's
incites a
different.
crowd,
It's
and
different on stage.
yeah, yeah. So like it was a lot of years of just a lot of we had good moments, and then we had moments where a lot of people didn't show up. So I did that, but at this point, if I'm gonna go out and travel and go perform, then it gotta make sense. It gotta be a good amount of people in the venue for me to like really want to go out there and spend money and do all that. Because bro, we live life, man, and we got bills to pay. We got a lot of shit to do. I'm willing to invest in myself, but I'm not willing to invest in like shit that ain't gonna make any sense. You know what I mean?
Right. Well, and also, I mean, like, if like resources are limited, you know what I'm saying? So if you're investing your time, energy, money here, it's taken from something you could have been doing over here. You know what I'm saying? So it's like it's gotta be it's all strategic. You know what I mean?
Yeah,
It's gotta make
it's all
sense.
got to be planned out. It can't be an emotional, like choice. You know what I'm saying? You got to really like think about shit and think about how you want to do it and see if it makes sense. And if it makes sense, then you jump at the opportunity to do what you got to do. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah,
Because I mean, I'm not trying to make the band. No, I'm not trying to do Diddy make the band. I'm not trying to stand in front of nobody. And rap. I got a catalog, so I don't need to stand in front of anybody and rap verses to anybody. So you know,
yeah,
it's just I want to get out there and do more shows, and I got to do what I got to do to get out there. That's all. You know what I'm saying? But
yeah, yeah.
definitely plans for it. Definitely plans for it. We're supposed to be going out to New York, I think in June for the B Street reunion.
That's dope.
The whole 6 man though, like we all supposed to be going like deep out there.
So what
So
is it? What's going on? Like it's like the anniversary of B
they,
Street or something?
yeah, it should be B Street used a record store. They have one, I think, in they have one in the Bronx for sure, but I know they have one somewhere else. And it's basically they doing a big reunion. And if you went to either one or whatever, then I personally feel like I went there so often as a kid in Fordham Road in the Bronx that I feel like it's only right that I go show some love. And I also knew the resident DJ from the Fordham Road one, which his name was DJ Light, and we used to call him Benji because he was from my block.
Yeah,
So I would hope to see that he's still alive and hopefully see him there at the venue. You know what I mean?
that's dope.
But I definitely want to go show love. I know there's gonna be a lot of MCs, a lot of producers. Just go network and show the underground love, man, because they show me love. So I want to be able
Yeah,
to like see the people and be able to like build with the people. You know what I
yeah, yeah. It's so valuable. The
mean?
um the new project, the benchmark, available everywhere right now in all DSPs. For people who want to connect with you, if somebody wants to send you beats, if they want to buy a verse, what's the right places that you are on, that you're most active online for people to connect with you?
Instagram mainly for music, for everything music. Hit me on Instagram. The Facebook stuff, I do it, but not as much. And it's just easier to get in touch with me through Instagram if you want to talk about music or whatever. And if you want to talk about features, whatever, you can hit me up or hit up XO Joe Show here on Instagram, Joanna XO Joe on Facebook. You can find her and you can hit her up and let her know what you got in mind, and we can make it happen, man. We're not raping them records. We're not trying to charge you crazy money for a feature, nothing like that. I mean, I'm realistic, bro. I know that a lot of these singles that a lot of people put out, barely sell enough, and so I'm not gonna charge somebody something that they can't possibly make back. You know what I'm saying?
Right,
So,
right. Right. That's really, really dope. My brother,
mhm.
congratulations on an incredible record. The benchmark.
Thank you.
I know that as a dope MC that's been in the game for a long time, when the idea came together for there to be a project that was completely produced by six-man entertainment producers, you wanted to come correct on that, and you did. You know what I'm saying?
Thank you,
You and
brother. Thank you.
out the gate, the opening joint, just like right,
Yeah.
case
Guitar case shooter. Yeah.
right out the gate, and then it just
Yeah.
doesn't stop. It just doesn't stop, my brother.
Thank you, man. Salute to everybody that was a part of it, man. Salute to all the producers, Shay Cobain, Murder Megs, Freak Show, DJ City Rich, Silverback Loren, Van Guns, DJ Cut Supreme for the cuts, DJ City Rich for the cuts, you know what I'm saying? And
Yeah,
salute to the Bad Seed and XO Joe for overseeing the direction of the promotion and putting it out there, sending it to the DJs and linking me with people like yourself, you know what I'm saying? Like, cause you spoken to Seed and you got a good relationship with him. So I know
yeah.
that. And I've been watching your interviews for a minute, man. I've seen the ones you've done in the
Appreciate
past.
it.
I've seen your interviews with Ito. You know what I'm saying? Like anytime you got a Rochester dude or anybody like the other sort or from the Bronx, I'm tuning in. Even outside of that, I'm tuning in because I like the conversations. They're in depth. You do your research. You know
Thank
what
you,
you're
my
talking
brother.
about when you speak to the artist, and that's very valuable to me. You know?
Thank you, my brother. I appreciate that so much. Crotona P, it's been
Sure.
an honor to build with you. What an incredible project. The benchmark available on all DSPs right now. Crotona P will run it back in the future, my brother. Salute.
Big six, baby. You already know. Salute.
All right, my brother. Peace.
Peace.